This is not an adventure bike. Change my mind. Well, here we are, the cockpit of the 2025 Africa Twin Adventure Sports ES. This is so much more like a sport touring bike than an adventure bike. I know it's categorized as that, and there's a lot of splitting hairs, but if you look at the purest of the original Africa Twin with the 21-inch front wheel, a lot more ground clearance, and very rudimentary controls, right? Compared to this, I think has crossed over and now can be considered a sport touring machine. At it, the ergonomics, right? Mid controls, very upright position, very comfortable, ample storage, sufficient wind protection, and this has a 19-inch front wheel and less ground clearance than the base model Africa Twin that is much more off-road oriented. So Honda, in the design of this new model, a new launch, pretty much made this to cross over into the sport touring category while maintaining the adventure sports name. Now, a lot of people buy this, say, oh, you don't take that off-road. Well, you don't have to. This is oriented for munching miles and riding the mountain roads and doing it in comfortable fashion with a lot of storage, hence in that sport touring mode. Now, the nice thing about this bike is, if you do put a 70-30 tire on it, you can take it off-road. So whatever sport touring bike you may be looking at, and there's a lot of them, think outside the box. Just because this is called an adventure bike, don't be afraid to look at it to meet your sport touring needs. And that goes for not just this Africa Twin, and I'm not talking about the base model. The base model would not fit that need. It is the Adventure Sports ES because of the 19-inch front wheel, because of the advanced electronics package with adjustable suspension. It has heated grips, less ground clearance. So while it is capable off-road for sure, it is not its main intended purpose. And don't feel guilty if you don't take it off-road. It's exactly why I have a designated off-road bike and a smaller ADV in the Royal Enfield Himalayan, and I'm okay with that. Now, well, let's take a peek out here. Well, here we're looking at it, right? 19-inch front wheel, lower ground clearance, ample storage, sufficient wind protection. This is everything a sport touring bike offers. And like I said, you can flip it, quote, to the adventure category by just simply changing out some tires. So don't be categorized and pigeonholed into, just because it's called an adventure bike, it can't be a, quote, sport touring bike. This, the GS from BMW, the Triumph Tiger 1200, I mean, it's just a word, right? Just a category. And if you don't take it off-road with these particular versions, it's okay, because these can travel the globe. And if you do have to veer off to some gravel, you can. Some of the sport touring bikes, you can do some gravel, but much more capable on something like this, because it has the different modes from the user mode 1, user 2, off-road mode. And everybody's like, well, that's why they call it an adventure bike. Well, true, it is. But this particular model is more sport touring. So when I say leaves are starting to change mid-October, when I say to you, change my mind, all I'm saying is, while it's categorized as an ADV, I'm going to say it's categorized more in this particular version as a sport touring motorcycle. And even Honda knows they made this as a road-oriented machine. Now, if you buy the base model with the 21-inch wheel, more ground clearance, more rudimentary controls, you can crush that thing off-road. And being an off-road rider, I'm going to tell you right now, I prefer that 21-inch wheel to the 19 all day long. I have the Givy Alaska Trekker bags. I have the Givy crash bars. And it's the way I have it set up for me. It is just perfect for sport touring. It really is. I think this bike is phenomenal. And let's see, with the Honda name, right, you get the reliability, dependability, long service intervals, 8,000 miles. I mean, it's just really an awesome machine. But, you know, I think we get caught up in all these terms, you know, touring bike, bagger, adventure sports. That guy's working hard. Adventure sports, sport touring. There's so many crossovers now in the market. You know, if you look at like quote the BMW 1600B, right? B for bagger. I don't care what anybody says. I've ridden that bike. That is one of the most sport touring oriented bikes you're ever going to find. It's not just a bagger. I mean, that thing's 160 horsepower. The torque is ridiculous. The handling and the curves is ridiculous. It's just a monster. And you can ride it from New York to California without a problem. And it has all the creature comforts. So that's like the ultimate sport touring bike. You know, and I think this also falls into the category. Now, not as much power, but it's also way cheaper for one of these. And you get so many offerings on the Adventure Sports ES that if you are looking for sport touring, just give it a consideration. Even the GS, the GSA, I should say, and the Triumph Tiger 1200, you know. And let's not forget, these guys come with these big gas tanks, right? 6.5 gallon on this. And I believe the GSA has 8 gallon. So when you're talking about sport touring and the ability to just crush long days, not stop much at fuel, not stop much for fuel, you know, pretty awesome. Yeah, this guy's, boy, if you could smell his brakes burning coming down this incline. Woo! I'm gonna back off so he doesn't feel pushed. There we go. Hey, plenty of punch. Now let's talk about what makes a sport touring bike, right? Comfort, ergonomics, wind protection, electronic suite, right? Creature comforts, heated gears, heated seats, things of that nature, right? This Africa Twin ES Adventure Sports has all of that except the heated seat. And I'm sure an aftermarket manufacturer would definitely have one of those available. I'm just going to find it hard pressed to find a better sport touring genre, model, style of bike, machine, aka motorcycle, than this here Africa Twin Adventure Sports ES. Just, I don't know. And the price, guys, you know what, 18,000, 18,500. It's going to come in a little less than some of those other sport touring models, or right thereabouts thereof. The base Africa Twin is going to be like 12. So for the difference, and you want a road-oriented, awesome sport touring machine, all I'm saying is think outside the box and consider it. You know, the other thing that's great about this bike, phenomenal brakes, very easy to ride, and super manageable at slow speeds. The only drawback is that this is a tall bike. It does have the low seat position offering. So, you know, if you're someone that's like 5'7", 5'6", Not quite sure this is going to be comfortable for you with that reach, although you could always do 1 foot down, right, which is what you should be doing anyway. But sometimes you want that comfort in the back of your mind that you can flat foot both feet. So, but other than that, I mean, that's just a physical limitation. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't consider the Africa Twin Adventure Sports ES 1100. And if you do get into DCT because you are only going to use it on road, I mean, that's just best of all worlds. That DCT is smooth as can be. I had a Goldwing DCT. I loved it. I thought it was phenomenal. But this, I wanted manual control. I just like it better. Call me old school. I like manipulating the throttle and the clutch, especially in slow speed maneuver positions. Not that it's a problem with the DCT, it just is an adjustment that you must learn. So that's why I don't think this particular model version is an adventure bike, but more a sport touring machine. Change my mind.